Guys, I think this is working. I think it is live. Ugh, what a weird light. Let me see if I can fix that. No, it's all bad. Yeah, it's my fault for waiting this late. Hey, it's a Saturday night, and I just wanted to touch base about this past week's discussion boards, and then a quick preview of this coming week. Everybody nailed the how to reduce observational errors discussion posts. Lena, you had a great comment about being systematic in your approach. Others talked about having collaborators and the peer review process, higher sample sizes, certainly reflexivity and being aware of your bias, like critically being aware of your bias, rapport building, increasing the time spent in a community. Transparency with rights holders. Shalom, that is such a great concept. So I'm glad you brought it in. And then Steve, oh my gosh, with the basketball and the moonwalking bear reference. Holy moly, what an amazing video. I immediately shared that with my kids. You're also operationalizing discussions were also great. I admit to purposefully giving you conceptually weird multidimensional concepts that are a bit slippery to operationalize. And then there's this coming week, there's one that may be actually even worse. So you can hate me for that if you want. But the reason I do it, sometimes when anthropologists deal with clients, be it somebody you currently work for or a consulting kind of organization, clients can be unintentionally vague about what they want or about what their own assumptions are. And this exercise of trying to think, okay, well, how do we operationalize concepts? It can be a really useful critical thinking kind of tool for yourself, but then also for getting clients to sort of think through something with you. Somebody had a question about, can I use pre-existing scales? And of course you can, as long as you're aware and as long as you're explicit about the potential limitations. Scales for literacy or poverty, I think, are pretty accepted. There are others, and I'm thinking of psychometric scales that psychologists often use. Those can be problematic, when they're applied cross-culturally, just because they have to be validated for different populations. And honestly, anthropologists are often those who help validate them for populations. But I'll give you an example. I was once working with a demographer in West Africa about measuring. We were dealing with caregivers of AIDS patients, terminally ill AIDS patients, and then family level caregivers. And so this demographer wanted to use a psychometric scale called role captivity, which was essentially how trapped do family members feel in this role as a caregiver. Um, and so it's a concept that makes a lot of sense for middle American white populations, say in Iowa, but they don't make sense necessarily in West Africa. So like one of the questions in this multidimensional scale was, people were supposed to rate like on a scale of 1 to 5, how often do I have time for myself? Do I have time for myself? And honestly, I had to point out West Africans don't think like that. Like having time for yourself would not be a good thing in West Africa. And so it's not something you would admit to or even it wouldn't be a desirable concept, right? So I had to just point out like, whoa, wait a minute, let's put the brakes on this scale and come up with some better, culturally valid kinds of references. Anyway, we'll run into that again with the World Values Survey here at the end of the course. All right, so let's think. This coming week, it's a little bit of a review. It is more about sort of the next step in conceptualizing research. It's actually, you can blame Lena because it's really it's being systematic about your research, about the research questions that you ask, by spelling out a relationship that you think exists between variables that you expect to observe. All right. So it's just not everybody does hypotheses in anthropology. I mean, I certainly don't always do it, but it is always good to be systematic about what you expect to observe, all right? What you expect to be there and what the relationships that you expect to observe in them. So anyway, that's what this coming week is, half of it. And then half of this coming week is about ethics. So poor choices in some social sciences, about ethics. There's also about IRBs, if you don't already know what institutional review boards are all about. And then AAA's Code of Ethics. So as master's degree holders, or PhD holders, you all will be considered professional anthropologists. And so I thought you should have a week where you look at and actually read, your future professional code of ethics, right? To see the kinds of things that you are bound to or will be bound to. All right. That's pretty much it. Let me know if the assignment makes sense this week. My advice for this week's, the end of week 3 assignment, is keep it simple. It's a lesson in very clearly operationalizing a tight relationship between just 2 variables at a time. Okay. That's it. Of course, feel free to contact me if you have any questions at all. All right. That's it. See ya, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.